Welcome, Wahlberg friends and family. We are here with another educator, Mrs. Everett. She is in her 5th year at Wahlberg. She has been rocking out the curriculum in 5th grade and has a way of getting students excited about math. Miss Everett brings fun to her classroom with her love for Disney and keeps students on their toes as to what Disney ears she will wear each Friday. Miss Everett, thanks for joining us today.
Hello, and I'm so glad to be here talking about different ways we can use math at home.
I want you to talk to us about how students and parents can use math in the real world and how important it is when you are teaching to make those connections for them.
So it's very important that students are making those real world connections with their math concepts. There's numbers and math all around us, and we use it on a daily basis, but we don't always think about it because it's become automatic for us. And once the students see that we're constantly using math as adults, they begin to understand why it's so important for them to understand these skills and learn them as they're continuing to get older and learn newer and harder things.
Yes. Well, can you give us an example of a lesson you would teach in the class that students could apply to outside the classroom?
Okay, so in 5th grade, we learn how to do all the different operations with decimals. We add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And as adults, we use this when we're looking at our bank accounts, determining how much we're spending at the store, when we're determining how much to leave for a tip when we go out to eat. So we use decimals all kinds of ways and doing different operations with them that students are learning that right now in 5th grade.
That's great. I think that's very prevalent in how we're going to use that even as an adult. I think a lot of kids think that they learn it at school and then they don't ever have to use it again. So I love that you're incorporating that in there. Can you give our parents an example of how they can incorporate math into their everyday life? What scenarios would come up with maybe after school?
So students of all ages can work on adding up the items when you're shopping at the store. Your older students can work on rounding those whole numbers. They can work on adding up those decimal numbers. But if you have a younger student, you can work on identifying the numbers that they see. Maybe you round it for them and have them write it down on a piece of notebook paper. I know one of the things that my daughter has done is taken a notebook with us through the grocery store, and I would round up each item and tell her what to write down, and she would add it up so that she had an estimate of what we would spend when we got to the checkout counter when we were leaving the grocery store that day. So they can work on adding and subtracting whole numbers, decimals, depending on their age. Might need a little bit of adult assistance, but you can do things like that. If you're heading on a road trip, count those highway exits, those exit numbers. That'll help our younger students especially work on being able to count and even skip counting in some cases.
Yeah. So I'm going to put you on the spot a minute, and I'm going to ask you a question about brick math, because I think that would be something really cool that our parents might not know about. So I've had the pleasure of being in Miss Everett's classroom as she has taught a brick math lesson. This is something that our district incorporated in as an intervention tool a couple of years ago, and Miss Everett's had been trained on it previously and really just grabbed onto that for her students. Can you talk us through that process and how you do that kind of introductory lesson with students and how much that helps and benefits them?
So brick math is basically taking your Lego bricks that we all know and love, at least I do, and using them to build math skills. So you look at the little studs that are at the top of the bricks, and you identify the brick based, it's a 1x2 or it's a 1x3 or a 2x4, depending upon what brick you have. And then the younger students can count those studs and take multiple bricks to add them together. And one of the things I've used it for in upper grades is we have worked on multiplying and dividing, most with that repeated addition with our Lego bricks. So we do a lot of different activities looking at the Lego bricks in different ways, but one of the simplest ways that you can use them is just to count the studs, add multiple bricks together, what does it equal, and things like that.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, like I said, I put her on the spot for that one, but I thought that would be something parents would be interested in hearing about. Well, Ms. Everett, just want to thank you for your time today and for bridging the gap between learning in the classroom and at home. And parents, until next time, keep growing and exploring.